This is a stimulus check update and daily news report. Got some big important updates to share with you as Democrats brush off the failures of the voting rights legislation. They're now turning their attention back to the Build Back Better bill. I'll give you an update from Nancy Pelosi as well as the DNC chair of how the Build Back Better is going to be broken up and moving forward. Grocery stores are still struggling to keep food on the shelves. I'll give you an update of what's going on with that, as well as the latest stimulus news. You may be eligible to receive $5,000 on your tax refund thanks to stimulus law. And one city is building a golf course with their stimulus money. I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving $200 to my subscribers. I'll talk more about that later on in the video. But first, vaccine bonuses, aid to businesses, and a golf course. Cities and states put $350 billion in stimulus windfall to widely varied use. Congress gave local governments billions to battle the coronavirus and shore up their economies, but the exact benefits of the influx of federal funds may just be in the eye of the beholder. Basically, what this article is talking about is the different ways that cities and states use that $350 billion. For example, Palm Beach Gardens in Florida, I guess it's a pretty well-off city or town, they actually used $2 million in federal stimulus aid from that last third stimulus package, and they're building a 115-acre, 18-hole golf course. I guess they have so much money that they don't need to help out their own citizens, but they're putting it into a golf course. Compared to other cities, which I've spoken about, a lot of them have given out stimulus checks to their residents or some type of stimulus provision. But I guess sort of like stimulus checks, someone who's more well off, they'll take that stimulus check and put it into a savings account or investing. Compared to someone who's not as well off, they'll use that for rent, utilities, food, and use the money right now or pay off debt. So same thing with this. It's just kind of going through all the different things that the stimulus money was used for, one of them being a golf course. Also, this article, you may be eligible to receive $5,000 on your tax refund thanks to stimulus law. So what is this talking about? Basically, if you had a baby in 2021, you get the $1,400 check, which was that third stimulus check, plus $3,600 child tax credit if you decide to get that in a one lump sum. So in a couple of days, January 24th, when you're able to file your taxes, if you had a baby in 2021, you will get $5,000 on your tax refund, which is huge. That could definitely help out new parents and new families. And a lot of you may be wondering, what about me? What about us if we don't have any kids, if we're on fixed income, if we're retired, on disability? I hate to say it, but unfortunately, that group of people have just been left out to dry. The government hasn't really done much to help those groups of people, unfortunately, which I feel like those are the groups of people that need the most help. When it comes to the stimulus check petition, $2,000 per month to every American for a fourth stimulus check, currently at 3,022,000 signatures so far, and still no sign of a general force stimulus check. Although the Build Back Better seems to be back on the map, but not as it was before. Democrats are now debating which chunks of Build Back Better to save. Biden is hoping that some sizable portion of this social spending bill might yet make it to his desk. Here is Nancy Pelosi giving a quick update, talking about what happened with the with the voting rights and what her move is moving forward, and how Democrats should not criticize Manchin and Sinema for this.
Well, I think people will say what they're going to say. I have not encouraged that. In fact, I have discouraged it because we are a giant kaleidoscope here, Democrats and Republicans. You never know who's going to be in the design of the next bill. So we have to be respectful. But I've discouraged people from making comments about them. And you maybe hear it more than I do. I just don't hear that much of it anymore. No.
Do you think that makes it harder maybe to get their vote down the road on this subject or something else?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that they'll do what they believe, and and I'm hopeful they have come to agreement on aspects of the Build Back Better legislation. We may want to have to rename it to something that's even Build Back Better than that kind, whatever we decide to call it. But the fact is that we're a diverse place. from right to left, Democrats to Republicans, within our own parties and the rest, and we have to be respectful. And I don't think there's any upside in Democrats criticizing Democrats.
So it looks like King Mansion and Queen Cinema have won this battle when it comes to the Democrats. They have reigned supreme. So Democrats hope to salvage Biden's agenda on Manchin's term. So with Manchin holding out, he's going to get what he wants out of this Build Back Better bill, whatever chunks the Democrats decide to put in or put forth. I'll share this video clip of the DNC chair talking more about the Build Back Better, giving an update of what we know so far. Before I do, I just wanted to let you know stock market is down, which is a good time to get stocks. If you don't want to put up any of your own money, I have a link down in the description below to get free stocks. I think the promotion at the moment is you get one free stock just for signing up, a second free stock that's, I think if you just put a penny in the account, they can equal $3 to $300. And I only usually mention this, I'm not being sponsored or anything, I usually mention this when the stock market is down. So this could be a good way to get free stocks and have it see it rise, whether over the next few months or even years, if you don't do anything with it. So I have a link to that down in the description below. Here is the DNC chair on Build Back Better.
It's good to see you. Look, we just saw those poll numbers that Steve talked about. 38% approving of the president's handling of the economy. And look, credit where credit is due. Low unemployment, higher wages. The president can talk about all those things, but if people keep going to the gas pump, if people keep going into the grocery store, Procter & Gamble just said in the last 24 hours, we're going to raise prices again. People need laundry detergent. You know, these are not luxuries. How do you go out and make your case to the American people when they just see their prices going up, up, up?
Yeah, you know, two things, Chris. One of the things is the president has really saved this economy. You know, think about how things would be right now if we did not pass the American Rescue Plan. The reason why schools are open right now is because Democrats, under the leadership of Joe Biden, put money back into those schools without any Republican support. Same thing with many of our hospitals and our cities who desperately needed resources. We were able to stabilize the economy and even grow and add more jobs to the economy because of the investments made in the American Rescue Plan. But the president also said the other day that we got to go out and sell these accomplishments. Think about all of the things that we have been able to do. We know that COVID is still the wet blanket that is really not only here in America, but all over the globe, that is really holding down us starting back and getting back to normalcy. But this administration is doubling down on that, and they're stressing the urgency for folks to get vaccinated and boosted. If more people could do that, then we can get back to normal quicker. And then we will see all of the things that we enjoy and that feeling that we have that things are. Remember how we were going into the summer? A lot of people thought that we were getting back to normal, but we still had a lot of Americans who were not vaccinated, and we saw the COVID numbers increase. We need to do our part to get this economy back on track.
But is that a message, Mr. Chairman, is that a message that resonates with people? I mean, is that going to work, or do people look and say the buck stops here? Do people look at hospitals and say, well, the American Rescue Plan helped them? Or do they say, I just see hospitals overwhelmed, doctors and nurses leaving the profession in record numbers? I mean, I'm trying to figure out how you make that case looking forward as opposed to looking back. Here's what I've done. Because, you know, human nature is, what have you done for me lately? Yeah.
Well, the Democrats are continuing to do things for the American people. That's the components of the Build Back Better agenda are just that. I mean, we know that right now for a lot of people to get back to work, a lot of women to get back to work, they have to tackle the issue of childcare. Well, guess what? In Joe Biden's proposal, he has a provision about childcare, giving families almost $10,000 back a year on their child care expenses. That's how you make people feel like, you know, things are getting better.
So
But
you
on the
think
other
what he
side,
talked
we have
about,
a
which is this approach of putting it in chunks and maybe selling each chunk, for lack of a better word, individually, may work because it's easier to message that than something big and complicated?
Well, I think that may have to be the path that we go down, Chris, because, you know, sometimes when you look at his big plans, there was a lot in that. And a lot of people it was so big that so many people don't understand the great things that were in there to benefit them and their families and their community. And so we need to break it up. make the Republicans, who don't have an agenda. Remember, Chris, this is a party that we are fighting back against, who didn't pass a platform in 2020. McConnell and McCarthy have already said they don't have a policy platform for 2022. So they don't stand for anything. They don't believe in anything other than fear, fraud, and fascism. And so we need to put on the floor every single day a vote on these big provisions that will help and impact the American people and relieve some of the pressure and the tensions that they have dealing with the impact of COVID.
So it looks like Democrats back to the drawing board, trying to figure out how they can appease Manchin and Sinema with the Build Back Better plan. Let me know your thoughts on all that down in the comments below. So grocery stores still grapple with bare shelves. So I'm fortunate that in my area I don't see too many empty shelves, although I've seen in the comments a lot of people in other areas their shelves are completely bare, sort of like this picture right here. So here is a video clip explaining more of what's going on with the food shortages and what we can expect moving forward.
Kelly, the shortages you mentioned are everywhere. Here at this family-owned grocery store in Sunnyvale, California, they expected about a 5 or 6 pallet shipment today, as they would normally. Instead, they got nothing, they said, from their supplier. And you're hearing that story all across the nation. Why is this? Well, there are a couple of more invisible reasons. One is predictive software, the systems that stores and companies use to predict what you and I are going to buy so that they can put things on the shelves just in time for us to buy them. The problem is taking measurements from the past to predict the future only works when the patterns continue. But COVID blew up all of that. I spoke to an expert in that kind of software to talk about its failings and the problem with efficiency and just-in-time capitalism in general.
It's kind of like predictive analytics. It works very well when the present is like the past, but if there's a big disruption, it means that you're likely to have some problems and not be very resilient. And I think many companies are starting to realize that optimizing just for leanness is not a good idea.
Now, Kelly, the other problem here is labor. The wages for warehouse workers and truckers have held below inflation for a long time, and experts say that may be why so few people are willing to take those jobs right now. Certainly, this store says that a lack of truckers and warehouse workers is part of the reason they can't get what they need, and that may be part of why we're seeing so many shortages all across America.
So let me know, have things gotten better in your area if the shelves were bare? With the problem with the truckers and lack of labor and things like that, I could see a lot of problems still happening for the future. But hopefully things are better in your area. That is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, I want to tell you the one thing that you can do to yourself. Be kind, be smart, and also you have to be kind to your mommy, your daddy, or your brother or sister, or anything that you want. And also you have to be kind to yourself.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. As I mentioned earlier, $200 checks going out next week. So you still have time to sign up if you want. I have details down in the description below. Don't forget about the free stocks down in the description below. Again, not sponsored. I just see this as an opportunity when the stock market is down to get free stocks and see the value go up as the stock market rebounds, which it always does. And if you want to check out my latest Wise Vibes video, you could click up here. I think this is the one with Cristiano Ronaldo, famous soccer player, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.